I would argue strongly that it's up to the personal responsibility of the agent.
Absolutely agree.
If they want to go headlong into a self-employed arrangement, warts and all, then that's up to them.
I guess the question is, though, is the warts and all declared up front?
Well, the point I was trying to...
Or is the dream being sold?
Damien Jeffries was saying earlier on, he goes, we would sell the dream of freedom, and now we sell the reality. Because the reality is, if you're coming into this without a year's worth of finance, you're absolutely knackered.
Mm-hmm. But this isn't unique as well, by the way. I think the average realtor only sells 4 properties because there's 1.4 million realtors, isn't there? So there's a whole work-life balance.
Yeah, but at what fee?
Yeah, 6%.
But that's
3% either way.
The reality
but there's lots of people there that literally will have their license and they'll be having a round table chat.
The reality is
self-employed
is definitely not for every agent. And that's because some agents are not just potentially better, whatever that means, but they're just better at being self-motivated, organised or whatever. So I think, look, to me, I'm very excited about the direction of travel for self-employed in the UK estate agency sector. Because I think the 20 or 30% or whatever that actually can be self-starting, self-motivated and performance-driven on their own
and also
are going to do very,
in
very
their
well.
worth. Yeah. They believe in their worth. They're going to stand behind their fee. They're going to deliver the service.
But I also think not only is that better for the individual, I think it's better for the consumer.
I was going to say,
if you consumer chooses, if you've got $8,000 riding on a fee, you're going to be really good at looking after that.
And those stats again back it up, don't they? Because again, they're selling those properties in quicker time because it's on there.
There's no question.
But I think one of the things I've always loved about you and Adam, to be fair as well, is not like some of those models who have gone out there saying this is the death knell of a state agency and everything else. They said, look, I absolutely just believe that there is space in the marketplace for
everybody. Exactly.
And I think that you're going to see much more. You're going to see expansion in there.
I think choice for agents and choice for customers is absolutely critical.
We've gone from, I started partnerships and stuff like that, and that has its own challenges because you've got different brands to then operate with, which I think I was a bit crazy to do, if I'm being brutally honest, because that creates its own problems in so many ways in terms of scale. Mm-hmm. But I also think I want to choose people that want to come in I want people to have a choice if they want to come in to the right platform to get them towards their goals, which could be employed versus...
To me, the fundamental question is, and look, there's bound to be different levels of productivity, whether it be EXP, Yopa, Best or even the Guild, right? That's just because different people are very different. Yeah. Is the question to me, can you earn more as a self-employed estate agent than you can working for X, Y, Z high street? Yes, and therefore it should be encouraged.
100% you can.
But then it is up to you as an agent, he or she, whether they stand or fall.
Take accountability.
But there's that. You can earn more, but you are going to have to come at this from a completely different place than the one that you're used to.
Yeah.
That's the reality.
Surely you realise that if
But here's the other thing,
surprised.
But there's another thing here. Look, all of the platforms, not just EXP, obviously will have lots and lots of their agents on LinkedIn saying, hey, I'm doing fantastic. And, they will have their share of superstars, the same as Yopa will.
Yeah,
and Williams will. Hortons will. And so on and so on and so on. Damien Jeffries will, right, on a smaller level. But so you can't blame them for using that showcase of success to attract other people in.
That's marketing. We all do it. Promotion, marketing.
I remember at Countrywide back in the day, you'd get your best performers, stick them in the newspaper, and they'd tell their story. I worked at Next, and then I ended up. That's just natural. But just coming away, when I say coming away, I still want to talk about the agents for a second because it is the Estate Agent Showdown. So the biggest blind spot.
Well, you're feeling a little bit hurt.
It's all right. What's the biggest blind spot? Tech in the corner.
Well, we need you here to balance it out. What's the biggest blind spot agents don't want to admit they have?
The biggest blind spot agents don't want to admit they have.
Well, I don't know if it's a blind spot that they don't want to admit they have, but I think one of the biggest challenges, personal brand, whether or not you are representing yourself as an estate agent or whether you're representing your brand in a local area, personal brand is becoming more and more and more important. People want to connect with authentic individuals who are going to show up in their lounge exactly as they present themselves on social media. And I think increasingly the importance of video and personal brand is becoming so important. And it's a leap if you're not used to and comfortable doing that to present yourself in a way that's going to connect with the consumer. And, frankly, there's a huge range right now of abilities and skills in doing that. But if you're not doing that, if you're not putting yourself out there, if you're not presenting your brand authentically in social media, that is a big, big gap.
You came out of a different sector, if you like. And you have a personal brand within our industry. Did you need to do that before where you were?
I did, but it wasn't a social brand because we didn't. I'm really old,
just as important,
so we didn't have it. I've always had a personal brand because, and it's the one that you've seen today. Yeah. But it was presented in very different formats. It was much more analog, face to face. But obviously, with the advent of social media over the last 10 years, we talked about it earlier. I've developed a personal brand, but for me, personal brand is about demonstrating who you are. Right? Let me just explain how you can go wrong. So if you imagine, I've never been on a dating app in my life because I've been married for a long time. But if you're on a dating app and you connect with someone on a dating app and you see their picture and you're chatting for a few weeks and then you decide, we're going to meet for dinner. And then they walk into the restaurant and this person looks vaguely like the picture that you saw on your social media, but maybe a bit shorter, maybe a bit older, maybe a bit chubbier, maybe whatever. What happens immediately? You've lost trust, right? Yeah. So if your brand online is not exactly who you are whenever you walk in the lounge, you're losing trust. You're eroding trust. And trust is the number one reason why someone is going to engage with you to have a 6-month relationship to sell their property. Yeah. So it's so important. And the progress that you can make, that if you do that really well socially online, and then they walk in the lounge and you feel like, I've already got a connection with this person. I know them.
It's the 7-11-4 principle.
Exactly. Yeah. So, so anybody not using that as a tool
is the word, isn't it? That parasocial is that word that came out the other day, which is where people who've seen you online, on videos, they feel like they know you're that thing. And that is reinforcing the importance of it.
He's gone on his dating app over there. He's filming. He's
sorted out all. He's checking out his profile pic.
He doesn't look anything like it.
Have you been on one? No, I was going to ask you. I think that's an analogy that I might have to borrow, but again, that's the prerequisite.
I'm going to credit it to Steve Carroll because we've talked about this, and this is a conversation Steve Carroll and I have had. So I'm going to credit it to Steve.
Can I talk about somebody who studied you agents for some time now, so I can talk about your blind spot?
You agents,
and I'll do a whaley weave like Trump, and I'll take it right back to the start here. And Iain was saying the most important thing was in your bank account. What your bank account? I think that is entirely wrong, because actually I think the biggest blind spot you guys have is that you still aren't telling the fantastic story that the leading agents do by way of reviews on all the different platforms. The reason we bought View Agents, the reason why I jumped on the board of Verified Trusted.
This is a plug for
it absolutely is, because it's the biggest. It is the biggest open goal here. The average agent in the UK only has 79 reviews on Google. We spoke about the public, the consumer absolutely trust them. If you're out there saying you deserve 1.5% there, they've heard a strong pitch from the other person as well. Is reviews and testimonials are the only way that you can demonstrably show that you are different and deliver on the job.
And it's how you bring those reviews to life in the lounge, for argument's sake. It's a story, isn't it? That's what connects people to stories.
Yeah,
I've got two. First one is that agents believe that their skill is more important than discipline.
Yeah,
and actually, it's completely irrelevant. Motivation is nowhere near as strong as discipline, so they don't do the right things all the time. They do it when they have to.
Extrinsic versus
if I was to be really controversial, I don't meet many agents other than the good ones. And the good ones, by the way, are just good at everything. So even back in the day when I was at Countrywide running 200 offices, they would always do the reports on time. They'd be good at cross-sales. They'd be good at everything.
Totally.
That's a really, really great point. How you do anything is how you do everything.
Exactly
Consistency is
it's down to personal branding and discipline.
Yeah.
And then the controversial one is that most agents, and I've listened to a lot of agents talk, they don't overcome objections anymore.